Hey everybody, it's JJ Conway. I'm so excited to be here with y'all today. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite things to do when you want to get started in real estate investing, and that is driving for dollars. That's right. That's right. You know, the more things change, the more the things stay the same. And today we're going to talk about how to drive for dollars, and then I'm going to invite you to a very special session where you can actually hop in my car and look over my shoulder as I drive for dollars here in Stephenville, Texas. I am so excited about that. Now, look, this thought just came to me. I haven't fleshed it out yet, but if this, wait, let me rephrase that, okay? Because we've been doing the driving for dollars car tours for a couple years now. But this next thought just came to me, and that is, if you would like me to come to your city, you'd like to bring me to your city, and you'd like to maybe make a fundraiser out of it, and you can sell tickets to people to come driving for dollars. You provide the vehicle, you cover my transportation expenses. If you're one of my students, I'll even waive my speaking fee just to help you bring the blessing to your neighborhood. How about that? Bring the blessing to your church ladies. How about bring the blessing to your youth organization? Because this talk, these real estate investment 101 classes, they are a fundraiser, and I'll talk more about that in just a little bit. But first, I have I just want to get the elephant out of the room. Okay. First of all, I know my hair is ridiculous today. It's big Texas hair. It's been a big, frizzy, humid Texas day, and I pull out my curling iron, and my big Texas frizz looks at that curling iron and says, "Ha ha ha! You brought a knife to a gunfight." That is how I feel today. It actually doesn't look too bad on the camera. So maybe if I could just hold my head like this, we'll be all right. Seriously though, I'm really excited about this content because it's the only thing that I teach for real estate investing where I actually invite you to come with me to do it. So next month, we're going to be doing a behind the scenes tax sales preparation for tax certificates in Louisiana, as well as tax sales in Maryland. But that's like an online thing, and you're not with me, like you're not in the car with me for those. So I love the driving for dollars one. This tonight's session probably be a little bit shorter because the bulk of driving for dollars is going to be in the doing. So there's a million, I've been investing in real estate since 1999 when we bought our first property. And, I'm still learning. I'm still learning whenever I go to a new investor group. I'm still learning from the people in that group. I'm learning from more experienced investors or investors who've done things I haven't done yet, because there's so many ways to make money in real estate. And then I'm learning from newer investors who find unique ways to do it, to harness the power of modern technology and do things in maybe a faster, smarter, more efficient way. I'm going to talk a little bit later about how all this new technology isn't always faster, better, smarter, but sometimes it is. And I love, love, love learning from people who can help me implement. So today we're going to be talking about driving for dollars, and I'm so happy you're here. Hey, I want you to get into real estate too, my man. I want you to get on out to my YouTube channel and watch your replays of this content, and find somebody out there where you're at who will, in a local real estate investment group, and they can help you learn the ins and outs of the local real estate landscape, just like I help people here who hop in my car and drive for dollars with me. Love it, love it, love it. All right, let me pull my slides back up. Hold on, let me put me here so y'all can still see me with the slides, see my smiling face. Now, keep in mind for the purists out there, if I'm looking at the slides, I'm not looking at the camera, so that it's going to look like I'm not looking at you. But since I'm talking, I imagine you will know I am not ignoring you. But I may not see your comment because I'm looking at the slides. All right. Okay. And the slides take up the whole screen on my view. Okay. So like I said earlier, I will invite you to invite me to come help you do a fundraiser for your nonprofit with this content. I use Real Estate Investing 101 as my fundraiser for Global Youth Initiative. I run two Global Youth Initiatives: Global Youth Initiative of Erath County here in Texas, Global Youth Initiative of Northwest Louisiana, which is based out of Shreveport, Bossier City. Okay. I've got to tell you though, this is the first year since 2017. So what is that? The first year in 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. This is the first time after 7 years. It would have been my 8th year of doing a Global Youth Initiative, and we did not raise the funds we needed to raise for Global Youth Initiative. Now, normally the funds we raise are through this class and the other third Thursday classes. So if you feel led to give, I encourage you to go out and give. The Global Youth Initiative is free to our youth. In fact, we've had so many amazing experiences for our youth at absolutely no charge to them. So one of the ones that we did was we took them out to Cyport and Shreveport, and they were able to do, we set it up like a birthday party, basically, where they got to do the nitrogen ice cream and all those things and stay there all day. We've done them at the it's a Christ-centered rock climbing place in Bossier City, not far from Providence, where my son used to go to school. I forget their name, Rock Solid Climbing or something like that. But I mean, we've gone to the ninja camp places. Last year we did 2 years ago we did the planetarium. 2 years ago, we did the planetarium at Tarleton State University here in Erath County. And last year, we did the splatter room at Cross Timbers Fine Arts. That was actually really, really cool. But it got usurped by a birthday party. So I was a little gun shy about this year. But one of the biggest things, and you're going to learn this about me, those of you who are new to me and my body of work, I don't front. People think, oh, well, you teach people how to get out of debt. You must be rolling in the cash. And they hit me up for crazy donations. And I'm like, no, I'm not giving you $100,000 for blah, blah, blah. Right. And I've had people sometimes comment. One time somebody said, yeah, you sitting up there in that $500,000 house. And I thought, they must not listen to my podcast or watch my classes, because everybody who knows me knows, and I live in a small 1-bathroom house with 3 guys. We are not rolling in luxury here, but that's because we choose to spend our luxury money on experiences rather than the confines of these 4 walls, right? But still, one of the things you'll find out about for me is if the Lord doesn't put it in my hands, then I don't just put it on a credit card to make you think that I got it. Right? Like because I really believe that when the Lord wants me to do something, he will put it in my hands. He will put it in my heart. Sometimes he puts it in my heart before he puts it in my hands. Sometimes he puts it on my heart before he sends the people who have it in their hands to put it in my hands. Sometimes that's how that works. And sometimes stepping out on faith is doing what you can do till the rest of it falls into place, right? But I'm not going to pretend that, hey, it takes about $1,000 for about $1,000 per 20 kids to make that program go. And I didn't raise it. Now, some of why I didn't raise it is because I didn't attend to it like I probably should have. But I didn't raise it. And so if I didn't raise it, I'm not spending it. We already subsidize quite a lot of that. So why am I saying all that? I don't know why I'm saying all that. I don't like to admit that something didn't work out the way I wanted to work out, but somebody's going to get a deliverance out of that, because you're trying really hard to prove to everybody that this and this and this and that is the Lord. And I'm not saying it's not the Lord. I'm going to still do something. I got a week and a half left of something, but it's not going to be an amazing $4,000 experience if I don't get $4,000 of donations. And the one that I wanted to do is going to cost about $4,000. So anyway, and I have promised my family that I will stop digging into our personal funds for all of my big ideas and dreams. So if you want to contribute, if you want to help, you can. And if you are a person who, like me, has a big heart with big dreams and you want to make a big difference in the community, but your family is kind of tired of you spending on everybody else's kids and not taking care of your own kids, or you helping other men and women succeed, but you're not helping your spouse, I might resemble that remark from time to time. If you're in that same boat, I encourage you to adopt the same policy. If I don't have it, I don't spend it. If it's not in the budget, I don't spend it. Now, does that mean I won't make a flex here and there because something really cool popped up? Sure. But then I take from one area and balance it out in the other. All right. So if I don't have it, I don't spend it. And if God didn't give it to me, he didn't tell me to give it. Oh, I think I better say that again. If I don't have it, I don't spend it. And if God didn't give it to me, then he didn't tell me to give it. All right. So you can hang on to that. That'll save you a lot of trouble, especially those of you who are high earners when it comes offering time at your church. I visited the church of a family member one day, and I had wanted to ask her. I actually ended up asking her a couple years after this. I went to a church of a family member one time, and I was appalled because they called her down to minister to her. and they ministered to her and started telling her about how if she would just keep giving all this money and she would just keep sponsoring all their programs, that the Lord was going to bless her. And I was like, ooh, that did not fit. That felt like the slimy, not the spirit. And I was like, And so then a couple years later, I got to the point in my earnings where people were regularly doing stuff like that to me. And I said, well, this happened to me before and I didn't handle it the right way. I allowed myself to be manipulated and it caused a world of hurt. And it continues to this day. I still have people asking me about that situation. Like, did you really do blah, 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 blah? I'm like, yes, I did. I had to get my life together. And at some point, you just have to say enough is enough, right? And so I asked this family member, I said, what do you do about that? Because I noticed you stopped going to that church after that. And she gave me some advice about how when you have those kinds of situations, that you have to know what the Lord has called you to do and whether or not the Lord has called you to give in that way. And what she did was she created her own giving foundation. And so when she went to a new church, because when we're in the military, we go from locality to locality to locality. And now, if you're in the military, everybody can go look up how much you make. Okay, so there's no sense in lying before God. But if you are an entrepreneur like me and you're also a teacher or military or something where your paycheck is published, there is nothing that says you can't create your own foundation, that you can't create your own charitable organization and keep your tithes and offerings on par with what is the membership of your church, and then the rest of your tithes and offerings can go towards. I just happen to be the pastor, so that solves that problem, because the pastor of my church is not going to be preaching over the pulpit about how she can eat it for a month off of my tithe check. I actually had that happen, y'all. One year money was so tight. I'll get to real estate in just a second, but I feel like somebody's struggling with this. I feel like somebody who's listening to me right now, you've been trying so hard to make ends meet, and every time you turn around, people who didn't put in the time, didn't put in the work, they didn't do what they needed to be successful the way you did. They didn't give up partying those certain nights like you did so you could study for the exams. They didn't give up this and that, so they didn't give up instant gratification and feeling better about themselves in the moment so that they could, so you passed up all that so you could save the money, so you could get the job, so you could get the degree, so you could get the position. And now that you've gotten there, maybe you don't feel like you've arrived, but you've achieved a certain amount of success. And now everybody's got their hand out and making you feel guilty for succeeding when all they were doing was smoking and joking all their money, time, and resources away. I don't want you to feel guilty about that. That's not how God designed you to walk in wealth. In fact, nowhere in the Bible where I read about people who are wealthy and did all these good things was anybody wagging the finger like, oh, you should give this and you should give this and you should give that. In fact, the only person who has something to say about somebody's giving and lack of giving was Judas. So there you go. All right. Okay. So we're going to get back now to Real Estate Investing 101. I mean, Driving for Dollars 101 as part of the Real Estate Investing 101 series. But while we're doing that, if you would drop me a donation for Global Youth Initiative, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Because like I said earlier, one of the commitments that I made to my family was that for all these a million ideas, and anybody who knows me, I run fundraisers for like 20 different charities, and I do this and I do this, and I'm on all these boards and I'm on all these things. I made a commitment to my family that all of those efforts would be self-sustaining. And some people are like, well, you shouldn't have made that commitment because you knew this was going to need money or that was going to need money. No, that was the commitment that I made to my family. Is that all these extra things that I do were going to be self-sustaining. They're going to be self-sustaining when it comes to money and resources. Now, that doesn't mean I don't dip into my fund money a little time and do donation here or donation there, but I've learned how to get other people behind the dream. It's forced me to get other people behind the dream, and it's forced me to be able to take myself out of the equation and stop stinting other people's growth who would grow into this next level of giving, who would grow into the next level of ministry, because I'm not standing there covering the need for everybody and causing them to be enabled. Man, I'm back on it again. I tried to get off of it, but somebody's struggling. I hope if you're the one I'm talking to today, that you will shoot me a private message or an email. You can email me or you can private message me. My social media handle on almost every platform other than TikTok is JJ Knows the Way, and on TikTok it's JJ Knows the Way Real, because I piddled around too long and I didn't sign up for TikTok when I should have. And there's this boy named JJ who's got a channel called JJ Knows the Way, and he teaches math tutoring for kids. I don't know how long he's gonna last though. But anyway, what was I saying? You've got to at some point draw a line. And you've got to protect your future. You got to protect your time, your energy, your resources. Resources is not just money. Resources is money and relationships. Oh my goodness. There are so many times where I have lent my relationship equity to somebody else to help them get ahead. And all they did was trample those pearls into the mud. And so we have to be careful, people. We have to be careful how we do this and how we do that. We have to be careful how much money we give. It's really, really easy, especially when you're accomplished. Oh, it's so easy to just be like, you know what? I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll pay it. But then the people who could be growing through that experience, they don't ever get that opportunity to grow. And so for us, not only is it about protecting ourselves, our energy, and the future that we have for our families, but it's also about protecting other people's right and process of growth. See, it's a double-edged sword. If I just do everything for everybody, not only are they not going to grow, not only are they not going to come up to the level God's called them to, but when I use up all my energy, I got nothing left for my family. When I use up all my money, I've got nothing left to spend on my kids. When I use and I think for a lot of us today, it's not even about just money. It's really about our energy, our strength, our physical strength and stamina. We take care of things, kicking booty all day long at work. We're making it happen, right? We're getting it done. We're getting this done, getting that done, making the phone calls, closing the deal. Yeah, man, we're getting it done. But what cost? Do you come home and get cranky and snap at your kids and your husband and your wife and your whoever? The dog? The cat? Cats are easy to snap at because they don't like you. They don't like you. You feed them and take care of them, and they're like, oh. Some of us need to learn how to pull that back. And until we learn how to pull that back, a lot of our efforts aren't going to be as successful as they could be. Because if we're a person of faith, then the Lord is trying to keep us from destroying ourselves. And if we haven't dealt with some of those internal issues that push us to do more and more and more and more, rather than be satisfied with good enough, then we ourselves, that same mechanism. Oh, y'all, this is so deep. I hope you get this, okay? I know some of you came for real estate. You came to talk about driving for dollars, but this is going to set somebody free today. This is going to be the key that unlocks your business. This is going to be the explanation as to why you're doing everything that you need to do and still things aren't working the way they should. Because whatever is driving us to expend all of our energy to be accepted, to be successful, to prove we're good enough, and at the expense of our own health and at the expense of our family. That drive, because it's motivated by the not good enough, not worthy enough, not successful enough, because it's motivated by that, even while you're in the process of proving it wrong, it self-sabotages you. That energy self-sabotages you. And you did all the work to set up that big deal. And then the night before, you don't go to sleep, you don't prepare, you don't do this, you don't do that. You somehow find yourself on Netflix binge watching two different seasons of the last show. And then you get into the meeting and you bomb. And you've been doing that over and over and over again. And you've been watching other people that aren't as successful as you. They aren't as accomplished as you. They aren't as smart as you. And they might be better looking than you, but they aren't as smart as you. And they walk in, have nothing really to say. They're just a nice person. Everybody likes them. The deal gets done. And you wonder, what about me? When is the deal going to be done for me? When is the luck going to work in my favor? And I say luck with air quotes because I don't believe in luck. I do believe in coincidences. I do believe in favor. But luck is something you can't control, or you only control it by being doggedly religious about a non-religious item. Lucky rabbit's foot, things like that. Okay? If you find yourself in this situation, I'm telling you, just like I found myself in that situation, you can climb out of it. And you don't have to take the solution I took, but the solution that I took was to my family that anytime I add something new, and I have certain things that I've budgeted money and time for. Thursday nights is my prep class night. It's been my class night since 2013. All right, it's been my class night, Thursday nights. That's on the schedule. Anything else that pops up, there's a negotiation and a zero-sum game for the rest of the family. I have a certain amount of money that I'm spending towards this organization and that organization and this nonprofit and that nonprofit out of our personal funds, my personal slush fund. Anything outside of that is a zero-sum game. And I made that commitment to my family. You know why I made that commitment to my family? I made that commitment to my family because we had a sizable savings for something, just something. We'll just call it a thing. And I used that savings for all this other to do good in the community, thinking because my business was booming, I would put it back. Yeah, well, we all know what happens when business gets to booming. And COVID happens, 9/11 happened, the real estate market crash happened. I mean, how many times in our life, there's about every 7 to 10 years, some big cataclysm happens. And yet we still don't learn the lesson to stop gambling with our family's future, stop gambling with our energy levels, stop gambling with our health and strength. I want you to build the empire. I just want you to have some health and strength to enjoy it when you arrive. Now, can you use that today? I know we're going to talk about real estate investing. In fact, I'm probably going to extract this part and make it into either a Juice with JJ or one of our podcasts. But can you use that today? Send me a private message and let me know if you can use that, or drop it in the comments if you feel like you don't mind dropping it in the comments, and let me know if you can use that today. All right, I'm going to go ahead and call back up my real estate investing sides. Okay, and some of you have seen these a couple times before. I like to go over them each time. Let's see, I'll put me down there. I like to go over them each time just to make sure everybody's on the same playing field. And there's a lot of different ways that people can build wealth in this country. Real estate is one that I recommend because, one, there's all kinds of different ways to profit from real estate. You can either have the property profiting from you, you can be in an industry related to investing, or you can offer ancillary services such as like the ATM that might be put in a commercial property for others to enjoy. There's lots of different ways to invest in real estate. In fact, I have written here on this slide 20 different ways, 20 plus different ways to invest in real estate. Okay. And even further, I've gone into these ones in blue. These ones in blue, you can make profit without even owning the property. Although to some extent, if you're a deal maker, you could actually do the same with land. Okay. You don't have to take ownership of the property to make money, good money, with these different methods of real estate. And the ones in green that I've highlighted here in the first column, the ones in green, guess what? You don't even need money to get started. That's why I highly recommend real estate. There's so many ways to make money in it as opposed to other areas. And it's a solid way to build and maintain wealth. And it's the only ethical, repeatable way that I've personally seen people build financial independence as little as 3 years. And so let me explain what that means by repeatable and demonstrable. Okay. Demonstrable means you see it. You can see the tangible results, right? And repeatable, what I mean by that is if you do it, it works all the time, every time. If you do it, it works. Does that mean that somebody won't run into mold? Does that mean that somebody won't have a bad tenant? It doesn't mean those things won't happen. But if you follow solid strategies for managing real estate, even when those blips happen, you will still be profitable. Okay. If you follow the rules for those ancillary services, or for, services related to real estate like brokerage and things like that, if you almost everything in real estate is a checklist and numbers game, and anybody can do it. Anybody can read a step, do a step, get a banana. All right. And so that's one of the reasons why I love real estate. Okay. And I like to tell people there's all kinds of ways to make money out there. I know people who've made money in the most craziest of ways. And I know in ways that just don't work for my personality. But if you follow the number one rule of real estate, you will absolutely be successful. And those of you who've been coming to my classes for a while, you know that the number one rule of real estate investing is that you make your money when you buy. So I'm going to say it one more time. You make your money when you buy. And one more time for the people in the back. You make your money when you buy. If you are able to acquire a property at 70 to 80% of the cost of value, it will absolutely make you money. Even if you can't keep it and another investor ends up taking it off your hands at a discount, there's still enough room in that deal for you to be able to make some money. And so that sounds real simple. It is real simple, but it's not easy. If it was, everybody would be rich. And the reason everybody isn't rich is because, like I said earlier, real estate is a numbers game. So out of 100 offers, you might get 10 or 15 willing to negotiate. The other 90, they don't even respond. All right. Out of those 10 to 15, you might get 5 to 7 that are under contract. So that means you actually lock it down, you finalize a price, everybody agrees to it. Maybe you put up a little bit of earnest money, you've got a contract. But even then, if you want to buy those properties, then this step doesn't apply. But many people who are starting off in real estate investing, they are wholesaling their deals to another investor. So they lock it up with a contract and then they wholesale that contract to another investor. And out of the 5 to 7 that you get under contract, 2, maybe 3, mostly 2, maybe 1 will be wholesaled to an investor. And then out of every 2 to 3 that you actually get wholesaled to an investor, which means they've given you earnest money and you've signed the dotted lines, there one fat payday will actually happen to closing. And so when I was in real estate brokerage, and when I was a realtor, this same thing applied. Out of every 100 phone calls you make, 10 to 15 actually respond to you, 5 to 7 let you come to their house and do a presentation, 2 to 3 will actually sign to list their house. And out of those 2 to 3 listings you take, one of them will close. And so the cool thing about that, this is a little daunting and this is a little scary, but the cool thing about that is if you're like me and you like the numbers, I can do those numbers and say, okay, how many properties do I need in the hopper to make the money I want to make? And then I can calculate how many I need based on how much money each one's about going to get me. And then I branch that out to, okay, if I need to make $10,000 this month, if I need to make $20,000 this month, $50,000 this month, $100,000 this month, how many phone calls do I need at 100 phone calls to one closing? How many phone calls do I need to get the paycheck I want to get? And so for me, anybody can do that. Now, we may not like making phone calls. We may not like driving for dollars. We may not like doing research. There's always something we don't like to do. But the bottom line with real estate is if you do the things, you will make the money. Oh, I should market that. If you do the things, you will make the money. All right. So what we're going to talk about for the rest of our time together tonight is we're going to talk about finding candidate properties. Now, some of you were in the Wholesaling 101 where we covered this initially, and we talked about 2 ways to find properties. The first one is prospecting. Prospecting methods are where you go out and you look for potential deals. Okay, you go out and find properties, you go out and research properties, maybe you buy into a list, or maybe you go and look at the probate listings or the foreclosure listings. Those are ways that you go looking for potential deals. All right. The next way to find candidate properties is marketing. You put something out into the world that entices them to call you. So maybe you put out an ad that says, we buy houses fast cash, fast closing, no repairs, something like that. It gets them to call your number. So that's two different things. All right. So I want to make sure everybody understands finding candidate properties is two sides of the same coin. On this side, I am prospecting. I am going out and looking for properties. And then I'm reaching out to that homeowner, whether it's through a phone call, direct mail, flyers left on their door, what have you. The other side of the coin is marketing. I am putting out advertising. I'm buying Google ads. I'm putting out yellow bandit signs, whatever. I'm even putting flyers on the door. Whatever I'm doing, I'm trying to entice them to call me. Okay. So prospecting and marketing is two sides of the different coin, of the same coin. So what we're going to be doing, I covered a lot of these methods in the wholesaling 101. That's where those check marks are coming from. And today we're going to talk about driving for dollars. And I also covered some marketing methods in the wholesaling 101. So if you're not familiar with those, oh, you can't see the slide. Sorry, let me go back. Let me go back. Let me go back. So in the hold on, I gotta laugh at myself. All right, in the wholesaling 101, in the wholesaling 101, we cover prospecting methods. Okay, we covered prospecting methods. We covered using realtors. We covered bandit signs. We covered calling the for rent signs. We covered those. What I didn't cover, because I wanted to make it its own thing, was driving for dollars. And that's what we're going to dig into a little bit more today. Now, we also covered a lot of marketing methods. We covered bandit signs, flyers, door knocking. Yes, it still works in today's technological world. And what I'm going to also do is talk a little bit more about mailings. I think I may have accidentally touched on this in the wholesaling 101. Because I think I forgot to hide the slides. This is part, by the way, in case you didn't know, this is actually part of a much larger multi-day real estate investing 101 class. So all these classes that I've been doing with you on Thursday night, they are part of a 2-day fire hose of everything you ever needed to know about real estate investing. I haven't held one of those since I left Louisiana. I am actively looking for a venue and population in which to conduct one here in Dallas. If you have a group that would be interested in this information and interested in the workshop, let me know. Okay. All right. So let me go back to that. And so I think I talked a little bit accidentally last time about mailings. I'm pretty sure I did talk about the follow-up and stuff, but just in case I didn't, I'm going to go ahead and cover it today, because normally I talk about mailing after we talk about driving for dollars. So when we talk about driving for dollars, what we're looking at doing is we're actually getting an eyes on the ground view of what's going on in different neighborhoods. And a lot of people don't want to do this anymore because they just want to go on Google, or they don't want to risk their safety, which I kind of can't argue with. They don't want to risk their safety, or it's just too hot, or gas. Oh my goodness, y'all, gas. When y'all see my car and driving for dollars with me, you're going to be shocked. Well, you know what? To put on something where I'm driving everybody around for 2 hours, that's gas money, baby. We need to make sure we take care of that. But driving for dollars allows you to really learn your neighborhood and to see not only what's going on in your neighborhood, but then also to see the changes. So it's just like cleaning your own properties. A lot of landlords are too highfalutin to clean their own properties. I love cleaning my own properties because I get a very intimate firsthand observation of what's wrong. Now, I may not clean every one of my properties, right? Some are far away, some are nearby, some are big, some are small, but can't barely keep my own house clean, let alone clean something else, right? But it's a lot easier to clean a house when it's vacant, that's for sure. But by cleaning my house, I'm able to see cracks in the tile that I hadn't seen before. I'm able to see a damage to the windowsill that I hadn't seen before. And like some of these things you don't really see when somebody else is cleaning it. Now when I get to the point where I got 100 doors, you better believe I'm going to have cleaning staff on my side, on my team, right? But some of these things that you're looking for, you don't wait. Let me go back. Some of these things that you're looking for isn't just what is; it's what changes. So if you've got a house and it's been well manicured and you're driving around and every other month you're in that same spot and everything always looks the same. And then, a year from now, you see that it's starting to get overgrown. Nobody's taking care of it. The homeowner used to have pride in that property, but now nobody's tending to it. You might go and find out what happened. It could be that someone has passed away, that the person who was living there has passed away, or it could be something like they were a military family and they moved and they haven't been able to rent it out because, a lot of people take in those adjustable rate mortgages. Yeah, please do not take an adjustable interest rate mortgage. Get one that is stable. I know you think the real estate always goes up and it'll be okay. It won't always be okay. All right. So there's all kinds of reasons why a house that was well taken care of would suddenly not be well taken care of. And when you see that happen, now the little spidey senses should go off. Ding, 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 ding. There may be something here. There may be somebody here who now owns this property for whatever reason, and they may be willing to sell at a discount. Okay. So those are the kinds of things that we're looking for. Why do I have two of those? Oh, that's weird. Okay. Well, you know what? I'll write this down here. When you do drive for dollars and you eventually get a hold of the person who owns that property, I do want to caution you: don't judge or scoff at a seller's why. Why do they want to sell? Encourage them, support them, profit from it. Make a win-win situation where they win and you win, and then even the person who ends up living in the house after you still wins, whether you're renting it to them or selling it to them. Just accept their answers, don't judge them, and then it'll happen. Okay. So when we're driving for dollars, we are not necessarily looking for pristine, perfectly done properties. We're looking for properties that have some wear and tear to them. We're looking for properties where the yard might not be well maintained. We're looking for properties with significant overgrowth, with damage that hasn't been repaired very well, things like that. That's what we're looking for. Okay. I've told this story a few times. It kind of makes me sad now because we've been working on it for so long, and then it went nowhere. But we found a property. We found a vacant property just by keeping our eyes open. We found a property that was boarded up during prime time in Florida. And we were like, hey, let's go check into why would this property be boarded up when everybody else is making money hand over fist with their properties. And it turned out there was there were some desperate homeowners that didn't want to run the property and they wanted to sell it. It didn't work out for me, but it's my favorite example because if I had never seen this and then pursued it, I would have never had the opportunity. And I'm always thankful for the opportunities because every no leads me closer to the next yes. So always keep your eyes open for what you're doing, whether you're driving for dollars or whether you're walking in a new neighborhood. We call that walking for dollars. And whether you're talking to people and let them know that you buy real estate, you buy houses, and you help them. You buy houses and with quick cash, fast closing, quick cash, fast closing. All right. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift to talking about how do I prepare to go driving for dollars. And I'm going to caution this because it seems a little laborious, right? It seems like, wow, you're going to do a lot of work, but doing a lot of the work on the front end makes it easy peasy and much more smoother on the back end. So let's go ahead and take a look at driving for dollars. And if you want my driving for dollars checklist, oh no, it's the wrong link. Oh my goodness, y'all. I missed one. I'm so sorry. Let me fix that because that's going to be on the recording. And I don't want that to be on the recording. Okay, so 1 May, we are doing a driving for dollars. D4D 2024. 1 May, we're doing a driving for dollars. I'm actually going to pile people in my car and we're going to go driving around Stephenville, Texas, driving for dollars. We're not going to be just willy-nilly about it. We're going to be very methodical. And that's why I'm inviting you to come with me so that you can actually see it. And so let me see now if that worked. Nope, it did not work. What? Hey, did I edit the wrong slide? Oh, I'm so embarrassed. Okay, hold on. Wait, no, hold on. Let me put it on another slide. Here, you know what? Oh yeah, that one's right. So why didn't that go? Okay, let's remove and then let's present again. Stop screen, share screen. So that's so weird. Hey, while I'm making sure all the rest of them are changed, this might not be a bad time to remind everybody that as of the 22nd of April, Facebook has restricted the ability of companies to be able to broadcast into Facebook groups. Now, I've noticed myself something very unique when I go into Facebook groups, and I mean, when I go into doing my live streams when I'm walking, it now gives me the ability to share my live stream with the group. So it looks like what Facebook's trying to do is it's trying to capitalize on all these people that try to skirt the the new pages and paid ads and things like that, and just broadcast into their Facebook groups, and because they find that building those Facebook group communities has been very profitable. So it sounds like Facebook is like, yeah, we're gonna get some of that, We're not gonna let everybody else benefit from that. And so I've asked the question about some of the platforms that I use, like this broadcasting right now is on StreamYard. And yes, StreamYard is going to be affected because for you're going to have to set up a key for each one of these content, each one of these groups that you do, and whether or not the programmers at StreamYard, oh man, y'all can't see me. Whether or not the programmers at StreamYard are able to actually do something about it in the timeline that they're going to need, and even understand how it's all going to play out, that still remains to be seen. Okay. And so there are other softwares, like I also use OneStream. I don't use OneStream as much now that StreamYard has become much more fully functional. And then also there's one that a lot of people use called Open Broadcaster, which I actually really want to learn how to use because it doesn't have any cost to it. But I tried to set it up before, and it was just a hot mess. Like I just couldn't figure out how to get everything connected and how to get it to work, and the mics and the cameras and all the things. And so I finally made the decision that once I get done with this doctorate, one of the things on my postdoctorate to-do list is I'm going to pay somebody to do it for me. Just set it up. Just set it up for me and it'll be done. All right. So if you're look, if you're an OBS programming vendor, please do not reach out to me now. I said after I finish the doctorate. All right. So we're going to do on 1 May, we're going to do a driving for dollars class where you can come be in my car. If you're virtual, you can just log into Zoom and you should be able to see a lot. Last year when we did this, the phone worked out pretty well where you could see what we were seeing as we drove along. And but when we looked at the footage, we saw that the footage wasn't as high quality as I would have liked it to be. And so I'm hopeful that with my new phone, that iPhone has an amazing camera. I'm hopeful that with the iPhone will eliminate that problem, but I really can't guarantee that. But if you want to be in the class and you're not local, I still encourage you to get on Zoom with us. And because not only will you get the class and not only will you get the recordings of the class, but you're also going to get a folder with documents. And one of those documents is my checklist. I can just go check, 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 check. Did I do this? Did I do this? Did I do this? Okay, I'm ready to go. But I'm just going to give you kind of an overview of some of those steps right now. One of the things that people laugh at all the time, but I think it's amazing, a jurisdiction where this works is to get the ADC map or the really good Rand McNally map for your area. All cities and all states don't have an ADC map or the detailed Rand McNally maps. A lot of times we have that big Rand McNally national atlas or something that shows you, like, if you're driving from coast to coast, it shows you all the highways and stuff, but it doesn't always show you the side streets for every big city. But if you get like that one for Northern Virginia, every single street in Northern Virginia is in that at the time of that publication. It's impressive. It's one of the best things. Well, today I do like to use Google, but if I'm in a jurisdiction where these are available, you better believe I buy them and I keep them in the car. All right. But I don't have that for Erath County. I'm going to just have to do it myself. So what you're looking at right now is a map of Stephenville. And one of the things that you'll note about Stephenville, Texas is on a diagonal. So it doesn't go straight. The roads don't go north, south, east, west like in other rural communities. But what you do have is a diagonal shape. So I decided the area that I want to look at. I decided the area that I wanted to look at, which is this area around the city park. Okay, so because I would like to invest in property that's near the city park. Especially if, I was going to try to Airbnb it, but I don't think I am now because of all the taxes and fees. But if those get overturned, you better believe it. This is where I would want to have an Airbnb. Why? Because on times when nobody's here, it's right by I could stay there. It's right by the park. I could have a retreat there. It's right by the park. Okay. So this is personal reasons why I might want that property, but this is where I'm going to go look. Okay. And so what I did was I did a screenshot, and because I like everything to be normal, I did the screenshot and then I twisted it around. So I'm going to show this here. This is me cutting and pasting. You see these different areas where there's different boxes, it looks like. I was basically cutting and pasting and piecing together a Google zoomed in map of the area that I want to drive for dollars, which is effectively this area here on the screen. Okay. And it's bordered by Longstreet and Lillian. And then on the far side, it's bordered by the South Loop. Okay. So that's where we're looking at. Now, what I also do is I zoom in and I make maps so that I can see all of these little bitty buildings. See this parcel here on First Avenue and I can't read that. Sarin Street. This little property there on the corner of First and Sarin, whatever that street is, it has a little out parcel building. So is that really a little building? Is it a usable building? Is it a storage shed? Is it actually a thing, right? Then you've got this one here. Look at this here. This one here has another little parcel, but it goes all the way back past two lots depth. And then there's this big empty space here, which this big empty space here off of 2nd Avenue could be used for development. Am I going to develop any property? I'm not going to develop any property. JJ Conway is not going to develop any property. Now, at one point in my real estate future, I hope to be either a developer or partner with a developer because I think I really could be good at planning out a community, right? But there's developers that you can partner with if you find something that's decent, lock it down with a good contract, wholesale it to a developer. There's so many ways you can win with real estate investing. So I want to check all that out, and I want to be able to have it big enough on my printout that when I walk around with my clipboard and my printouts that I can circle houses that interest me, circle lots that interest me, that I have sides down the margin down the sides of the paper to be able to write notes about where I'm going. And that's why I blow this up so big. And so, here I'm not showing you the whole map, but I'm just kind of showing you a little bit of what we've got, and of how I do it. I mean, look at these here. There's a whole bunch of empty lots right over here. Whole bunch of empty lots. Now, are they owned by someone? Is this an accurate platting? Well, Google's not an accurate. Google is not an accurate platter. You cannot trust Google's lines. They're close, but they're not good enough for real estate investment work. But they are close. They get you in the ballpark. Okay, you like what you see, then you go into your county's GIS and you actually find the real thing. Okay. So after I've driven around and I've gone up and down, wait, let me go back to another one. After I've driven around and I've gone up and down each of these streets in an order, whatever order you like, it doesn't have to be the order I like, but a methodical, meticulous, make sure there's no stone left unturned order that you go up and down the streets and crisscross the streets if you want to. Okay. And so for a lot of these things, You are going to find properties that are interesting. Now, in a swath like this, a lot of people think, oh, I can't possibly, you can't see it. Oh, I forgot to turn the screen back on. I'm so sorry. All right, let me go back. Okay, so what I was saying before, you're going to go, by when I do this, I'm methodical about it. We're going to be methodical, and we're going to have a process. And so the reason we blow up the map is so that part of our process is see something you like, circle it, so you can go back and find out what it is later. You can go into the county GIS, it shows you all the plats and the taxes and all the things. You can go do that once you see the property. And so it would go up and down each block, up and down each block. And then if there's time, I might go crisscross because there might be something I missed doing the up and downs. But basically, that's what I'm doing until I've covered everything on there. And people say, oh, well, there's not enough room in a small town. There's not enough room for me to be able to do what I'm going to do. Now, I'm showing you, this is Stephenville, Texas. This big blob of green right here, that is the park that I'm talking about. So, and all of the park, I'm just looking primarily at this little corner of it. Okay. And even in that, let me go back down to the zoom in. Even in that, there are so many properties. I wouldn't be surprised that if I go down here and do this driving for dollars, I wouldn't be surprised if I come away with anything less than 10 to 15 properties. And it might even be more, okay? Because I'm going to start at Long Street, and you can see there's some Long Street entries right around bordering the park, okay? And so these are all things that we want to be aware of when we're creating this plan. But there's a lot of details here, and you can find a lot of deals in your own backyard. All right, so now one of the things that we do is we do the driving for dollars. We collect the addresses. The ones that work out, I like to put them into a spreadsheet like you can see here. All right, I like to put those in a spreadsheet. Let me take me off so you can actually see it. Oh, that didn't make it any bigger. Huh. Okay. I put them in a spreadsheet. And again, if you are coming with us Monday, or if you register to be part of the virtual crowd, you're actually going to get a copy of that checklist, the phone script, the analysis dealy, all of that stuff. We're going to be able to email those things to you, and you can use the spreadsheet that you saw here for briefly and stuff like that. Okay, that's after we get back. All right. The other thing that you'll get in the class is once we've gotten back, we've done our research, we're going to try to actually do that live. Now, I do invest in a couple different jurisdictions, and a lot of people have something that's close, but it's not exactly it. So we may have to play that by ear, how long we're there for, how long we drive around, what insights we come up with, and then whether or not you need to get the connected into whether or not you need to pursue this or that further. So we're actually going to take the properties that we saw, and we're going to analyze them. We're going to go into the ERAF. Is it CAD? I know a lot of them call them GIS, but that's really graphic user interface, or geological. I'm not even going to try to remember. But anyway, we're going to go into the database. That's how we want to say it. We're going to go into the ubiquitous database. And we're actually going to do that. And then when we do that research, we'll talk about skip tracing, and we'll talk about finding the numbers for the people. But if you're in a smaller area like this one, it's different trying to find those numbers than if you were in a big metropolitan area with 1 million people per square foot. Okay. So your mile is going to vary. But one of the things I'm going to give you in that class is the script, what to say when you call them. Okay. Now, when it comes to doing that profit analysis, there are a lot of companies out there. These are just 3 companies that are recommended by my real estate group that's local here. I'm still a member of Maria in Baltimore. I'm a member of Real Investors out of Bowie, Maryland. I'm kind of sort of a member of Tammy, but she doesn't have I haven't attended the Capital City RIA for a while, but I still a member of the group. And then when I was in Shreveport, there was a RE360 was my favorite one. There's another one there, Shreveport Bossier Rhea, but RE360 was a more, to me, a more vocal and willing to share information group because it was smaller and more intimate. But a lot of people in each of these areas will be able to tell you if any of these products actually work. And so my real local group here in Fort Worth, about an hour and a half, 2 hours away, depending on where they meet, is West DFW REIG, the Real Estate Investment Group. And these are the tools that they use. But those tools don't work for Erath County very well. And people say, oh, no, it's in there. It's in Propelio. Yeah, well, I had a wholesaler send me information twice now. Actually, a wholesaler in our group, this is funny. A wholesaler in our ladies group gets wholesale deals from somebody else, and she sent me two for Stephenville. And the guy or gal who wrote up the original post, they were grossly overestimating the profits and greatly underestimating the repair estimates for Stephenville, Texas. But I'm going to hold up a high thought, that we'll find something to work. But I also want to share with you one thing that I know does work, okay? And that is to use realtor.com. Now, I'm going to be honest, y'all, realtors have gotten very savvy, because the last time that I prepped this slide, it didn't say contact for price. But it just allowed you to be able to see the solds, okay? And so I was so excited to go and see that it still gave us the ability to pick recently sold. And when I do click the recently sold here, it turns me into this where everyone is contact for price. Contact the realtor who sold it for price. Well, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. If you don't want to get a million phone calls and emails for properties, you might just want to go down to the courthouse, or not the courthouse, but go down to the county offices, or use the online CAD/GIS, whatever it's called. And then you can pull a lot of data that way. Okay. But sold, the price of the houses that sold, and a realistic pricing is going to help you the absolute best. Sometimes we think that if we can get something, hold on, let me do it like this. Sometimes we think that if we can get something where we've skirted the process, that it might not be as accurate, but it'll be okay. But this can be a big deal, and it can cost you to lose deals if you're offering too much or too little for a property. And it can also, because of the spread of things like Zillow, people have an artificial trust in something that's created by someone that's never even put eyes on your property. But the properties in realtor.com were put there by our sales agents, realtors, brokers, who were in real estate all day long and probably have a better estimate of what the property is worth. Okay, so keep that factored in with your market analysis. Okay, let me put the slide back on. Keep that factored in with your profit analysis, and then make sure that everything you send is going to be legit. All right, so mailings. Once we get this list built, we have a list of properties. We've done the research to figure out who owns the property and how to call them or email them. We have the address because we pulled that in the first place. We can also set up marketing decisions. And so please keep in mind, when we talked about prospecting versus marketing, mailing is a form of marketing. Mailing is us trying to get them to call us, okay? And so you've prospected for the properties. Now you're going to market to the owners of those properties. And one of the ways to do that is through mailings. Remember, the goal of all the marketing is to get them to call you. And if you can do a targeted mailing, that's even better. So for example, if you just want to do a mass mailing, you send it to everybody in that block, everybody in that neighborhood. And that's the kind of stuff that is fine when you've got big bucks, but because it often gets trashed. And if you do the branding right, then even though it's getting trashed, it's still getting logged in their subconscious, right? So maybe that'll pay off over time. I mean, there's a reason Coke and Pepsi spend so much money on their ads, even though they're like the world leaders in soft drinks. Okay, it's because they want to keep it at top of mind, keep the images top, so we'll feel more comfortable reaching for one. All right. But if you can do one to everybody, that's great. It still can help establish your brand. However, if you can do something that's targeted, that's even better. By targeted, we mean you're only mailing a subset of the population. So, like in your driving for dollars, maybe you noted which ones were vacant. Maybe you noted which ones really need repair. And you send a specific marketing piece out for people who are in need of repair. Okay. Vacant homeowners, military homeowners, those are other, it's just whatever demographic makes you happy and then makes the creates win-win solutions with somebody else. Okay. Like I'm not gonna try to market. I mean, I'll take anybody's money. I'll take anybody's money, but I'm probably not gonna market to a lot of Gen Z until I get better at those kinds of things and figure out how to post what I'm saying in their language, and their into their things that are important to them, and which is a fascinating, y'all. It's a fascinating class looking at all those things. And if you're ever interested, let me know because I've got a license to teach some of that stuff. It's fascinating. Okay. But going back to real estate, I know I need to wrap this up because I can tell I'm getting talkative even more than normal, which tells you I'm getting a little tired. All right. But targeting is absolutely the best. And the reason that I think it's the best is because if you can get it niched down, then you're not wasting money with people who aren't really that interested, okay? Or who don't resonate with you. Ooh, let me say that again. If you can target down your population, you will not waste time with people who aren't going to ever resonate with you. This is a hard thing to say in real estate because everybody wants to get up and tell you, all the audience, hey, anybody can do this thing that I did and they can succeed. Well, the bottom line is not everybody can do the same thing that everybody else did to succeed, because there's a difference for somebody who's they are, let's say they are in their 40s and they know half the town and they grew up in the town, and their grandparents and their parents and their great grandparents and their great great grandpappy all grew up in the same town. That person is going to have an easier job building the kind of communication and trust and community trust and collaborative trust in that community than someone who just showed up yesterday. And so we do need to understand that some of that exists, and it can really be frustrating for us to try to send out, letters and find them going directly into the circular bin. Send out the postcards. We spent all the money on that. Where is it going? Why am I not seeing those results? And so we want to understand that there are differences in some of those kinds of things. And I know nobody likes to talk about all that, but I would be remiss if I didn't explain it to you. Sometimes it is not your fault. But if you can target your niche down to people who will be receptive to you without violating any rules or anything, right? That might serve you very well. Okay. Oh, no, that wasn't on the slide. Okay, targeted mailings. Now, this is a fun one. How do we make sure our mail gets open? Because most junk mail, people do it over the trash. Toss, toss, toss. I'll at least open it and shred it because I don't want my address out there. That's a holdover from when I was in the Middle East or when I was in Korea, right? But so I want to make sure if I'm spending my 50 something, 60 something cents to mail this letter, that you go open it. And if I'm doing a postcard, I want to make sure it's something that you're really going to open because I don't want to waste my money. 60 cents doesn't sound like it's too much, but it is a whole lot when you're sending out $100,000 ads every month. All right. All right. So how do you get your mail opened? Well, one of the big things is by handwriting it, and not handwriting it in a way that they know that this was a fake opportunity to get you to open up the thing, right? But like just a regular run of the mill, I'm signing this. Handwriting addresses is the number one ways. Putting real stamps instead of the pre-sorted. I mean, it kills me to say this because I always want to save money and I always want to help my clients saving money, but sometimes saving time is more important than saving money. So yes, I would absolutely recommend use the first class real stamps instead of the package bulk mailing. Now, if all you can afford is the package bulk mailing, then go for it and do it till you can get some more cash. But those two things will help your images come out much clearer and crisper, and people will want to buy. I mean, people will want to respond. Okay, another one is to use invitation envelopes. Did I pull any out? I thought I pulled some out. I might have used them. I think I've used them. I think I pulled them out for the class and then I used them for something. But I like to use the gold. I like to use gold invitation envelopes from Amazon. And then I also have, let me make me big so you can see me. I'm sure, because I think last time I did this, I also didn't have any with me. And I could have sworn I found them. All right. Well, I also have these metallic Sharpies, okay, that write really nice. So like if I have a different color metallic envelope or sparkly envelope, like I'll say I have a royal blue, I can use that. This one right here. So just little personal touches like that can really help you get something opened. I'm just going to look in this envelope big box real quick. There they are. I knew I had them. Hold on. Here we go. All right. This is what I usually use from Amazon. And usually when I buy them, I buy a bunch. I've only got about 50 left, so I'm going to have to place another order soon. But they come in all kinds of different colors. I was actually thinking about changing my color because everybody's so patriotic out here in Erath County. I was actually thinking about changing my color to red or blue. But look, I'm a frugal financial planner. I'm gonna use these up first. But here's what I use. Hopefully you can see how shiny that is, right? Can you see that? It doesn't really show you, but it's very shimmery. It's shimmery. So it looks like you're being invited to a wedding or something. And so I find that people are more likely to open these, you know. And I say that because I get more calls back when I use these than when I used to use plain white invitation envelopes. And you can buy multicolor. They even have pastel ones at Walmart. I get those on Amazon because they have the sparkle to them. But you just want to do something that makes people think, oh, this is special, but it's just for me. If people don't feel special when they get your mail, a lot of times it's going to go right into the trash, right into the trash. Now, another way to help people feel like they really want to open up your mail is to give lumpy mail. I love this concept of lumpy mail. Let me see if I can show you this with one of these. Lumpy mail means there's something in here and I need to open it up to find out what's in here. All right. And you have to be real careful because you don't want it to be something that the post office, you don't want it to be too thick or the post office won't do it. So you've got to make sure whatever you're going to send. A lot of people do pens. They'll do pens like that, or they'll do a little bit larger one. It depends. But look at that. Look at that. Look at that. If you got that in the mail, wouldn't you want to open it and see what's in there? Right? So like, what are some things that you can put in your lumpy mail? Well, you can put, I like this. You can put this. You know what that is? That's a round to it. It's a round to it. So now that you have a round to it, now you have the ability to get around to it, right? And so you can put one of those in there, you know, and they can feel it in there when they open up the thing. All right. I already talked about pens. Pens are a good one. All right. Another one that I find gets some good responses is customized sticky notes. Now you can get these made at Vistaprint. I would not get all the made that you want to make in your initial basket. I would like sign up for their mailing list, wait for the sale, because about every 6 weeks they cycle through all their sales, wait for their sale, and then stock up, and then put only like one or two or whatever in your basket. And then as you check out, it'll say, hey, would you like to add some more for a discount? And so, but you can get them customized, and you can customize the outside. You can put a picture inside here, and you can put your website and other stuff in the top of your tagline and all that kind of stuff. You can put that on there. And so when I put that in there, isn't that great? You know, they want to open that. I want to know what's in here. Our curiosity gets us. But if I just sent a plain old envelope, do I have a plain old envelope here? Here we go. Here we go. A plain old. Now, this is one I'm going to use for future podcasts. So I would never send one like this. But this is a plain old envelope with a pre-sorted thing. and windows so that the address shows through and they don't have to do any effort at all. Like, you know what this is going now. I shred my stuff, but other people throw it away. Either way, whether they shred it or they just throw it away, you wish wasted your time and your money. And I don't want anybody under the sound of my voice to waste their time and their money. So do something that's going to help you collect the highest amount of those um, opens, so that you can do something that will give you the highest amount of opens. All right. Okay. Let's see. Now, this is one I think I talked about before with the fortune in the follow up. Let me make this as big as possible so you all can see it. Okay. I think I had forgotten to hide these slides in the wholesaling 101, so I probably already talked about this. But just in case, I want to call your attention to the fact that only 10% of people follow up with a prospect more than 3 times. However, 10% of profit, 10% of sales are made on the 4th follow-up, and 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th follow-up. So what does this mean for us? What this means for us is most people give up too soon, and if we will just stay the course, we can make more money, because everybody else done gave up, and we can be the ones that swoop in, offer a good value, offer problem solved for the potential ah, I can't talk today, potential client, and then also something that for whoever's going to ultimately buy that house or live in that house ultimately, if it's not you, if it's not somebody that you are trying to put in there. Okay. So we want things that are going to create win-wins. But since 10% only follow up, only 10% ever follow up more than 3 times, but 80% of the sales are made by that. Well, that tells me I can control that. I can control whether I go to this class. I can control whether I work hard and implement the policies over the next couple of months. And I can ultimately control that. I may not be able to say I know exactly where the next check is coming from, but since real estate is a numbers game, I know if I do the things I'm supposed to do, then I will be able to collect X amount of paycheck. If I know I'm going to do the things that I'm supposed to do, whether I put that vest on with all the extra weights or whether I've taken it off and now I'm relaxing, whatever it is that I'm doing and working hard for, you want to make sure that you are utilizing your effort. Don't stop after 3 follow-ups if 80% are made after 4. Okay. Or 10% is made on the 4th and 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th. Don't give up. Everybody else gives up. That opens the playing field for you. Okay. Now, one of the things about following up is the honest truth. The honest thing about it is a lot of times people they don't trust, and they just don't want to hear what you have to offer the first time. So I've got other scripts that we'll talk about in the Driving for Dollars course on 1 May. And one of them is this mailing script. So when somebody calls you from one of your mailings, how you serve them. And then I have another one that is not here. Okay. I have another script that's basically when you call them. Oh, did I show that earlier then maybe? Oh, I did. Nope, that's the checklist. Oh, there it is. Yeah, when you call them, that's this script. We're going to go through that, and then we're going to go through when I call you. Huh. Okay. All righty. All right. So now we're going to do our research. I've already talked about why early in the beginning. Here's some examples of websites where you can do the searching. I find it interesting in some places you do the searching, and then they tell you, oh, well, by the way, you can't find anything because you haven't upgraded, And so just be careful about that. Be careful about that. The best way to find something that works in your area is to go to a local real estate investor meeting and find and ask from there. Our town doesn't have one, so most real estate investing knowledge is passed down by mentors, people who are there for whatever reason, whether they're getting paid to do it or they just want to help teach a young woman or young man or a young couple how to get started with this knowledge that they've accumulated over the years. Okay. But if you're doing your research value and you don't have access to some kind of swanky publication, I recommend starting with realtor.com. Okay. All right. I'm going to skip these and skip that. I am going to talk a little bit about this one. Man, this class is getting a little longer than I anticipated. Well, I'm glad you're hanging in with me. Sorry about the lateness of it, though. I really thought that this was going to be like a half-hour class. Good thing I didn't tell you all it was going to be a half-hour class. Excuse me. All right, so we said before in the beginning that you make your money at the buy, you make your money when you buy. And one of the ways you can make sure that you make your money when you buy is to follow the Mayo formula, max allowable offer, where we're striving to get that 70% cost to value after the repairs. And since it's a weird market, I've seen a lot of investors going up as high as 85%, and one went up to 90. And I was like, well, I don't know how that's going to work, but they just really wanted to get the deal done, you know. Keep in mind that when you do make that offer, you work your way through. Oh, did I do that yet? I didn't do that yet. Okay. You work your way through the example I'm going to show you on the next page. You're going to end up with a really low ball offer. And guess what people are going to do? Most people are going to either laugh, or they're going to flat out just say no, or they're just going to talk about it. But at the end of the day, they're going to tell me no. Right. So this is why realtors don't like to work in investors, because a lot of times you don't get anything. You don't get a nope. You don't get a nada. They just poof, they ghost. All right. Remember, when you're doing this, you're looking for the awesome deal and not the everyday deal. Okay. It's an everyday deal right now to be able to find something where, you know, it could work, but you might have to go into debt to get it, or you might have the first couple of years of negative equity because you're either hiding somebody. No, not hiding somebody. That did not come out the way that that didn't come out the way I meant it to. But because you're not looking to pay retail pricing for the property. You're not even looking to pay a small discount on the property. You're looking for an investor pricing on the property, which is going to be super, super low. In fact, it's going to be so low that one of my mentors used to tell me, if it's not low enough that you're embarrassed, then that means you're not making it low enough. All right. But because of that, realtors don't like to work with investors because they feel like it's a waste of their time. So you got to find somebody that's going to let you kind of cherry pick the interest till you neck it all the way down to the awesome deal, not the everyday deal. All right, I am going to just tell you right now, I'm going to go through this super fast. If you want to get the copy of the slides, make sure you send a donation for Global Youth Initiative, because I want to make sure that we get these out. But I also know that this class is longer than I anticipated, and I'm going to be running low on battery soon. Okay. But this is an example of calculating the price. Let's say we found this house and we are able to go online to realtor.com and pull out the pricing that things sold for. If you don't have a pricing that things sold for, you could use the cost of the current listings as an estimate, but I'd be careful. I'd be careful with that sometimes. So you kind of have to know the neighborhood. And again, when you're driving for dollars, you're going to learn the neighborhood. That's one of the cool things about it. You're going to learn the neighborhood so you can know what's wrong or what's different. So here's a graphical of the 7 steps that are here. Okay. So right off the top, if this house was worth $100,000, okay, if this house was worth $100,000, right off the top, I'm not offering more than 70. I'm going down 70 to 80% off. 80 will be my strong, upper edge, right? I might go 85 if there's enough investors in my list that will do that. But for the most part, 70. That's what I'm asking right off the top. 70 to 80%, 70. All right. So then we talk to them and ask a little bit about ballpark of what it costs to repair. And we have to make sure that we sound safe so that they don't get in trouble for school, and so that they can school. I'm thinking of my kids. I thought I heard somebody come in. Um, we need to make sure that we ask about ballpark and repairs. We want to ask it in a way that they feel comfortable telling us, and they don't feel like they have to hide it from us. And so a lot of times I will ask somebody, about, I'm sure it's been an older house, and I know that, houses of this age or houses of this quality or houses of this, whatever, fill the blank. I've noticed blah, blah, blah. Does this property have a similar issue? with the rain or with the whatever, the electric or whatever it is you're trying to dig under. Okay. I hope that makes sense because I feel like I'm getting so tired that I'm easily getting distracted, but I hope that that really makes sense. Okay. So right off the bat, I'm not offering more than 70,000. I'm going to ask for a repair for ball marks. I'm going to make it a safe space for them to tell me how much repair is really needed. And they might get it wrong, but that's okay. This is just a ballpark. I'm going to round up to the next 20, 2,500, 3,000, maybe $5,000. I'm going to add up the, each repair. I'm going to round it up so it could look like a lot more than it really is. Um, the reason I do that is because I don't want, I'd rather be surprised that there's less repairs that are needed than be surprised to find out that we need more repairs or we can't get the house finished. So I'd like to always err on the side of estimating bigger repair costs than what's actually happening. Okay. So then we're going to take out our holding costs. And holding costs is something that a lot of investors forget about. Holding costs is how much money it costs you to have that house there. So for example, let's say you didn't listen to JJ Conway about buying property for real estate without debt. And you went and got you a hard money lender who's going to fund it, and they're also going to give you a they're also going to help you they're going to I'm trying to come up with a good example. Let's just say you found a really good deal with a hard money lender. They give you the money to buy it. They're going to give you the money to flip it. Everything's all included, and you just felt like it was too good of a deal to pass up. And so now you get ready to go out there, and guess what? You find out that your good deal is costing you $2,000 or $3,000 every month just to hold the property because the hard money lender has high ratings, high rates, high interest rates, sky high. Like interest rates right now on a mortgage are like 6%. Hard money lenders are charging anywhere from 18 to 24%. Okay. So the cost of getting their money for the short term so you can fix the property and flip it, or fix the property, pull the equity out and pay them off, the convenience fee you pay for that is that high interest rate, which is why I really prefer that you don't do it. Okay. But let's just say you did. Now you've got the holding costs every month. You've got water, possibly electric, possibly gas. All those things might be going on. And plus you got to pay the hard money lender his or her $2,000 or $3,000 a month of holding costs of mortgage, basically. Okay. So you definitely want to factor in holding costs. And then this is a little squirrely. So in my example, we're basically got the price down to what we're willing to pay. But then I always want the other person to feel good about a transaction with me. And in this case, what I want is to build in some negotiating room. So if I knew that they're gonna wanna negotiate me down, then I might start off with a reasonably higher fee. Now, I wouldn't turn around and get crazy with it, but I would at least build in $2,000 or $3,000 into what I'm offering so that they have room to talk me down and it doesn't affect my bottom line. Now, in this example, you could still make some good profit, right? But if I'm in another example and you're hoping I'll come in, you're hoping I'll come in and I'm going to make everything great. And in my mind, I'm thinking you're going to just accept the first offer I give. Cause I mean, come on, why wouldn't you? It's so amazing. And then you go in with the highest number that you're willing to go. And the first thing they do, the first rule of a negotiation is to always ask for more, to start right out the gate of asking for more. Okay. So with that example, I might actually start my first offer around 38,000, 48,000, and just to see what would happen on a house that looks like that neighborhood is full of $100,000 houses. Okay. Hopefully that was helpful. All right. This is the end of the road for our class today. Again, I did not put it on here. Okay. This is our Global Youth Initiative fundraiser. When you buy into the Zoom online class, that's also a fundraiser. Okay, so those prices are a little bit high because I'm putting you in my car, or because you're going to get a copy of some of my super secret tactics in the email. So, in order for that to work, I gotta. Um, I'm sorry. I'm going off. I'm going off on a rabbit hole. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. Okay, I think we're gonna wrap it up today because I'm just going off on all the rabbit holes. Um, but what was I gonna say? Yeah, I forgot to put the class on here. Okay, that's what I was really basically working up to. I was gonna work up to, hey, I forgot to put the class on here. So on that last slide. So yeah, we're doing the driving for dollars 1 May. Um, jjclink.com/. D4D stands for driving for dollars 2024. Okay. All right, everybody. If you've been here the whole time, I apologize for my rambling rabbit trails that went off here and there. If you're watching this as the recording later on, I will probably have trimmed all that off. And if I didn't, I'm so sorry for it. And actually, if I did, you won't hear this because I'll trim that off too. But I do apologize. And we all have our weaknesses, and I can see that because I can keep going with this all day. I will answer questions. So if you have questions, drop them in the chat. I'm gonna check the question box and ask JJC real quick to see if there's any questions on there that I can answer. But I can tell when I start going off on those little rabbit trails that have nothing to do with what I'm talking about, that's how I know I'm getting tired. And I am definitely wanting to protect my energy because we will be up in North Dallas tomorrow for their local elect ladies revival. So again, here goes that link to book yourself in, and I'm going to just check the Ask JJC form to see if we had any new questions for me to ask. And it's taking forever to think. I've noticed lately all my Google products have been taking a long time. And this one is just not cooperating. Ask jjc.com. It's showing it, but it's not showing it. Well, okay. Well, if somebody dropped a question and asked jjc.com, I can't access the Google form. Google keeps hanging up on me. So I won't be able to pull it. But if you have any other questions, let me know in the chat. And if I don't see any when I finally figure out where that tab is and switch back to it, then we will call it a night. Okay, StreamYard Studio. Okay, there we are. All right, I don't see anything in the chat. So again, thank you so much for hanging with me. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I hope you put some of this stuff that we've talked about today into action. And then that way you can start to see the fruit and the results that come from taking action, even if the action itself needs a little bit of work. All right, I'm JJ Conway. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and be blessed.